James is also a third-generation combat veteran and a proud member of the NRA. Now, one of the biggest compliments you can get as a show like ours is when the conversations you start continue after your hour or show is done.
Right.
Well, we had that happen here. What ended up being discussed was gun control laws and gun control issues. We'll be right back where we're going to talk about that.
Inland Empire, Bon Johnson here. Now, we all know that recycling saves the planet. But what do you do with your old TV sets, laptops, and computers? You can't just toss them out with the trash. You can pay someone else to come out and dispose of them for you, or you can do what I did. Take your old TV sets, laptops, and computers down to FNG Recycling Corporation and get paid for them. Another way FNG recycles your TV sets, laptops, and computers is by fixing them. Yes, they also do repairs at a great price. These guys are open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's FNG Recycling Corporation. Give them a call at 818-477-8072. Or just drop in. FNG Recycling Corporation is located in San Bernardino County at 18907 Bellflower Street in Adelanto, baby. Tell them Bond sent you.
You bet.
Howdy, folk. Now, as you can imagine, it gets awfully boring out here on the prairie, except for Saturday nights. That's when we all sit around the campfire and listen to news that blows. That there Bon Johnson fella, he's something else. News that blows with Bon Johnson, right here on the Inland Empire's own KCAA regular.
See, that wasn't so bad, was it? Now, let's get back to more news that blows.
That's right. That wasn't so bad. Quit whining. We got to have commercials or we wouldn't be able to be here. Jeez Louise.
Hi, y'all. I'm Bon Johnson. This is News That Blows right here on KCAA Radio, 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM in the Inland Empire, and, of course, KCAAradio.com all over the world, baby. Thank you. Flawless victory. All right, folks. Let's talk a little bit about some of this news that blows. And, of course, we will be getting to our relationships question. We have a good one, a really good one, actually, this week for Lady Albright. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and get through this news that blew this week because, man, you know what? There was a whole lot of it. First off, let's start off with something kind of on the crazy side. A driver runs her minivan through the gates of the White House. That happened this week. Yes, that happened this week. I want you to pick up a couple of the key words that I'm going to talk about when we get back to this one. The word her and minivan. Okay? Keep that one in your bonnet. An ex-football player, the cat who was bullied by the Miami Dolphins and tried to sue the team, and they basically got drummed out of football. Apparently, he's still a little bitter. He put out some tweets this week that made him shut down a couple schools in his area, thinking that he was going to go shoot them up. Once again, as I said, the conversation in our room last week after the show was about gun control.
Right.
And a lot of opinions were shared. We literally could have done a 2-hour show last week for as long as we sat around afterwards talking.
Easy.
And we've had a lot of these conversations in the car afterwards, in the parking lot afterwards, getting our 420 on. It's kind of a proud point, an issue to me, that how much we continue to talk about it afterwards, and I hope you guys out there do too, because it's kind of what News That Blows is about. You know, opening your eyes to what the hell's going on out there. Maybe not the way they're trying to show it to you.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's why we do what we do. So one of the things that we were talking about, as I said, was gun control issues, and we were not alone in that here in the room. That issue stayed hot all week long.
Yeah, buddy.
It was in the news, and here's some of the things that happened. Obviously, those two things. With people running their White House gates down and closing down schools due to somebody posting with their assault rifles and making threats. We also had the NRA starting to feel the heat this time for the first time. The NRA has never, ever had to actually feel the backlash from a school shooting. They stay quiet a minute. Their politicians step up and sweep everything under the carpet. They say it's too soon to talk about it. Well, these kids said, kiss my ass. I'm talking about it right now. Don't tell me. I just lived through it. and it is having some huge power in our world today. So that's that's something that we're going to talk a lot about. Trump blew off his mouth. Speaking of heat, Marco Rubio took some serious heat in a town meeting in Florida, where the people, I mean, you damn near thought they were going to lynch him. Oh, they were upset.
Was that bad?
They were upset with as Donnie called him when he was running for president, with little Marco. They weren't too happy with little Marco. Trump makes a huge mistake and mentions that he thinks that they should lower the age or raise the legal age to buy a gun to 21.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, we're going to talk about how he got his pee-pee smacked down by a few different people on that one. Trust me, it wasn't just the NRA this time. That one goes deeper than you might think. Trump says that the resources that were used in the witch hunt about Russian collusion would have been better served helping the FBI look into this kid who didn't do the shooting. First off, see something, say something is working. This was a one-time incident. I'm not going to go into it. That's what I do later. I get myself so damn fired up. Okay. Trump also decided that it would be a great idea for teachers to carry guns. Yes, all teachers should be strapped now. Packing heat, baby. That's right. I got this math and this 9 for your ass. Okay.
With a 38 special.
Yeah, we're going to talk about how that's one of the most ridiculous things on the planet. And this next story might just be a little fuel for that fire. A sheriff's deputy paid to carry a gun was assigned to the school in South Florida, hid outside of the building while the kids inside were being slaughtered. Wow. Yes, I said hid. You know what?
I say what I really want to say.
I thought something about that.
Yeah.
And I was wrong, so I'm going to come back and I'm going to clear up my thought on that. And you're right. He was just plain old. He was just a coward. Enough talking about Trump. Let's talk about Trump's kids. I mean, they're going to do the whole foreign policy meeting. Trump Jr. is going to do it in India. Ivanka Trump is representing us at the Winter Olympics. It just feels like our whole country is being run down by a car and just left dead in the street. That's all I could say about that.
Didn't even turn the hazards.
No, it didn't even, man. It didn't stop, didn't look back. I'm speaking of not stopping and not looking back. In La Habra, a woman runs over a teenage boy with her car, but doesn't just hit and run. That's a bizarre story we're going to talk about. Another bizarre story in San Francisco. A man was pronounced dead by his doctor, but wasn't yet. Oh, yes. Out in the UK, another pedophile was caught and brought to court. And this gentleman, I didn't write down his name because I just don't want to give these guys their 15 minutes of fame. But this guy was a speaker at Birmingham University, 132 counts of child trafficking and whatnot.
132.
KFC out in the UK ran out of chicken. 600 stores had to close down. Billy Graham died this week. Russia and Syria are bombing the crap out of everybody and everything out in eastern Gaza. Trump's campaign manager got busted. We're going to talk about the collusion and all that when we come back.
Greetings, Inland Empire. I've got a question for you. What do you do if you've just graduated from high school, aren't ready to go to a university yet, and are nowhere near ready to get a career started? Or if you just want to upgrade your skill sets to get yourself a better job? I'm Bon Johnson from KCAA Radio's News That Blows, and I've also got an answer for you. Further your education at San Bernardino Valley College. San Bernardino Valley College offers courses that will ready you for today's job market, taught by today's top-notch instructors. It doesn't matter if you're fresh out of high school or if you have 20 years on the job. Go to valleycollege.edu and get your future started today. Hi, I'm Bon Johnson. I host KCAA Radio's News That Blows. I'm also trying to become a published writer, and when I first decided to write my book, I was given some great advice. I was told that a writer's most valuable tool is their butt, because the first thing you need to do to become a writer is put your butt in a chair and start writing. Great advice, but not altogether true. The first thing you need to do to become a writer is know how to read. Reading truly is fundamental. Yeah, that feels good. I like it. let's do some more news that blows.
Yes, it do. Yes, it do. All right, folks. We are at the point in our show where we answer a question that has been sent in by one of our listeners to AskLadyAlbright.com. And a question this week comes from a gentleman named Jonathan. It doesn't say where Jonathan is from. And here is the question, Lady Albright. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Say hello to everybody before you get
Hello.
down to business. There you go.
Hello, everybody.
Awesome. Kirsten Maxine Albright, by the way, is our full Lady Albright's name, and you can get her book, Relationships in a Nutshell, which is why, of course, she's our resident expert here on News That Blows. Nothing but the best for us, of course, because nothing but the best for you. So here we go. Here is Jonathan's question. Hello, Lady Albright. I've heard you on the radio and would appreciate your advice. My wife and I have been happily married for 18 years and have two beautiful daughters, ages 15 and 17. Unbeknownst to me or my wife, our eldest daughter sent samples off for DNA testing. When the test results came back, she told me it said that I wasn't her father.
No.
When my wife and I got married, she was pregnant, but it never would have occurred to me that the child might not be mine. I've brought her up as my own. I'm choked up already. I've brought her up all these years and just don't know how to handle this. Should I tell my wife, knowing all the problems that it could cause, or just leave it lay as it is? Or should I ask my daughter to tell her mom? Lady Albright, please, what do you think?
I think that's a mess.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
I second that.
Oh,
But I couldn't help feeling when I heard it that my heart really goes out to the daughter, because even though it's not good for the father, a man to experience that he thought he was a father of a child and then is not. I think the good thing is about it is that because they've been together for so many years, I don't think that relationship will change between daughter and father. And it doesn't seem like that's the issue with him at all. One thing I will say here, now I'm not a therapist or anything, but the first thing I thought about is they've just got to start coming clean, because they've got in the situation they've got in again. The problem without communication.
Comes down to it almost every week, doesn't it?
Every single time, I have to say it. Communication is key. But with that has to come honesty and trust. And you don't get trust if you don't have honesty. So here, I think what needs to happen is that they need to just be so supportive of that daughter and whatever her wish is. So if she wants to, I could imagine if that was me, I would want to sit my mum down and I would want to know what happened.
Right.
Who is he? What's his name? How do you know him? I would want all that information. And then they have to support her if she wants to go and see him, if she wants to make contact with him.
Wow, you know what? There's a side of the coin I had not even, when I read this, there's something I hadn't thought about.
They just have to be supportive now. But one thing is important is that they have to come clean. They have to deal with their own issues about what she's done and what he's done and what have you behind closed doors. I do not think that they should involve their daughter in that whatsoever. But what they should involve her in is sit her down and say, look, you know, we both love you very much. Nothing has changed for us or this relationship, but you need to find out what you want to do, and whatever you want to do, if you want to see your dad, if you don't want to see him, if you want to find out more about him, we'll be supportive and we'll be there for you, whatever. Whatever. That's what she needs.
That's what the daughter needs, absolutely. And, you know, I had said that I do not know where this gentleman is from. I can tell you where he is not from. He's not from the hood, because in the hood, a guy who would have heard this news probably wouldn't have taken it as calmly and as well as this gentleman seems to be taking it.
It's actually from England.
Is he? Okay.
So
I'm thinking that, you know, I know a lot of American men. I know we're cowboys and kind of brutish and whatnot, but most American men's reaction wouldn't be worrying about hurting her feelings at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's all just his whole... We
do have to remember, but Bon, we do also have to remember that they were obviously very young.
Right.
And if he didn't know that he wasn't the father, she doesn't necessarily know.
Right.
And back then there wasn't maybe enough information. I mean, I know girls that have had sex and didn't even really know that they've had sex. So, you know, I don't want to point to make anybody look bad or do anything like that, but there's two sides to a coin.
There's nothing you can do to take any of it back anyway.
It's happened now, and luckily they've been strong for all these years. And if they sit down, get communication, be truthful, build up the trust again, they can get a good relationship and be a good happy family again if they want to. But they need to work for it.
The other thing that came to my mind right away was,
what's that?
I would be willing to bet 10-1 that she went to Mom first. And Mom might have said, would you talk to Dad? It seemed to me like it might be the other way around, because I have a mom and a sister, and I know the mother-daughter relationship, and they tend to be almost like best buddies sometimes, and in a lot of relationships.
But then you also get the daughters where sometimes the oldest or the youngest is the daddy's girl.
Daddy's girl, definitely.
So that could also be it. But there's not enough information. I would have liked to have asked a lot of questions.
Well, you know, every question we get, and we do appreciate you guys sending them in so much. Every question we get is obviously just going to wish we had more information. It's going to want us to answer what we can, but try to be vague because we don't have enough information. But I think you do an amazing job. And
thank you.
And you know, once again, what keeps coming up again and again that needs to be. It's not beating a dead horse. It is what it is. Communication is the foundation to all good relationships. And so if you hear Lady Albright talk about communication a lot, it's because it needs to be spoken about a lot. It's not the fix-all answer, but it is the start to fixing.
It is.
Right. So there you have it, folks. Jonathan, thank you so much. We really appreciate
good luck with everything.
Sharing such a what must be deep, heartfelt situation for him.
Definitely.
That all of them. Everybody involved there is showing huge courage in the whole situation, I think. All right, let's get back to some of this news that blows here. One of the last things I was talking about was the collusion with Russia thing. All right. Now, this is going to be the last story that we talk about, but I did want to get back to it real quick before I dive into details on the other stories. The information being made public from Russia, all of it about the attack against American democracy, you repeatedly hear the Russians themselves referring to this operation as information warfare. Okay, I have a couple questions for you people to go ahead and think about a little bit while we go through the rest of the show before we break this one down. Did the words information and fair help you to look past the word war? All right? That's kind of a deep thing. Somebody is talking about an operation that they are doing against our country, and the word warfare is being used. We seem to be acting like it's just fair and it's information.
It still is.
So we'll talk a lot about that, when the time comes back to it. First thing up, we're going to talk about this woman who crashed her car through the gates at the White House.
Okay.
All right, this isn't some crazy lunatic militant person.
Or a spawned girlfriend of...
No, it wasn't
Donald
some crazy
Trump.
porn star whose payoff check to shut the hell up bounced. No, it wasn't any of those things. It was somebody who was actually so disenfranchised with our country. She probably dropped her kids off at school, and on the way home, just the fear of having to leave them there and what could happen to them made her hate so deeply that she wanted to go in and tell somebody in person. And obviously you are not in your right mind if you think you're going to be able to crash through the gates of the White House and talk to anybody, like there's a pull-up window. Oh, yes,
right.
Donnie's at the next window. Go tell him he's ready to take your order. So obviously the woman was at complete loss of her faculties. And she didn't come in gangsta. She came in lost it.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for that woman. The NFL guy who got bullied, 2 schools got shut down. This idiot put the name of the schools. He put people who bullied him in schools' names on it, hashtagged them all. Had pictures of his AR-15, another assault weapon situation. Had pictures of it up online while he was bad-mouthing these people. And I believe what he said is, when you've been bullied, you can either Oh, there's you have two options: suicide or payback. This was his post, and he named out the two high schools he went to where he was bullied. All right. Obviously, they shut down the high schools and arrested his dumbass. What have we come to today, folks? Okay.
He is not
Florida,
a role model.
Florida, literally 2 days after the big shooting.
Wow.
2-3 days, whatever. They had the issue of banning assault rifles came up in their court system.
Yeah.
Obviously, it must have been filed a while ago. Nothing happens that quickly in a government system. So what timing, huh? So, and of course, they shot it right down. They wouldn't even hear it. They wouldn't even hear it.
Really?
Nope. Kicked it right out of court. So that's your real government telling you about what they're going to do for your NRA needs, while the children get all the attention and everybody acts like they care and want to hold their hands. They're not holding their hands; they're kicking them in the ass. Don't get it twisted. All right, now the NRA, for the first time ever, is feeling some serious heat behind what has gone down with this school shooting. They are losing sponsors, credit cards that had NRA issue credit cards. Companies, airlines companies and others that give discounts to people with NRA cards are canceling their discounts. They're canceling their memberships with NRA altogether. So that's kind of something that went on. Marco Rubio took a beating along with the NRA in a town meeting, and it was awesome. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We've got a couple things we're going to sell to you first because I can't afford to do this as a hobby. This is News That Blows. I'm Bon Johnson. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, your boy Bon Johnson here. Now, if this weren't the radio, you'd be able to see me strutting down the runway in my super sexy Victoria's Secret lingerie. All right, I'm not really strutting down the runway, but I am wearing Victoria's Secret lingerie. And damn it, I feel sexy. Victoria's Secret can make me feel sexy. Just imagine what they'll do for you.
Go to victoriassecret.com and get your sexy on tonight.
Victoria's Secret. Go on, feel sexy. Oh, Tay, I've helped a gang of friends move over the years, and I thought I was pretty good at it. That was until I watched the guys at Golden Hands Moving and Relocating Company pack up and move my friends, well, his everything. Oh, I still got my pizza and beer. I just got to enjoy it while watching them do the work instead of me. And that didn't suck. I'm Bon Johnson, and I'm here to tell you that moving doesn't have to suck. Call Golden Hands Moving and Relocating Company and let them do the work. They even seem to like it. That's Golden Hands Moving and Relocating Company. Call them at 310-809-5095 and tell them Bon sent you.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292 FQ Riverside, and K293 CF Moreno Valley.
If I haven't offended you yet, stick around for some more of this news that blows. I'm sure I'll get to you sooner or later.
That's right. We will get to you sooner or later. Well, I say we. Me. I'm the offensive one here. These guys are here to make me look good and kind of put a little balance to my madness. All right, we are News That Blows right here, KCAA Radio, every Saturday night at 7:05, me groovies. We appreciate you being here with us on 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, and 1050 AM in the Inland Empire. Aye. Whoop. And, of course, Radio Spaz. I was thinking what to say next. That's so funny. I got ahead of myself. And, of course, right here on KCAAradio.com. All over the world. Just like, guess who? Radiospaz.com. Also all over the world. Yep. They re-air our show every Monday night at 7 o'clock. Want to thank the groovies over at Radiospaz.com for doing that. Also, they play my show, the 420 Music Break, which we do a 420 Music Break here on News That Blows. We do an hour-long 420 music break over there, where the joint that I play here, we use as our featured joint of the week there.
True.
And so every Thursday at noon, we got the 420 music break jumping off for you guys. So catch that. That is a really, really fun, really groovy show. There's no FCC rules, so I don't have to go through and do all the editing I have to do when I play stuff on the air here. Today I had one I don't even have to do any editing to. They didn't swear. They didn't use the N-word. There was nothing Nothing offensive at all. I'm still playing it. I
a
guess I'm getting old.
beautiful
One of the things I said talked about was Trump screwing up with the saying 21. Well, the military probably didn't like hearing that too much.
No.
People don't think about it. If you say you can't carry a gun till you're 21, that means you can't join the military till you're 21, and you've just lost probably more than half of your soldiers. So there's no way in hell we are going to deplete our military by changing the age restrictions on guns. Sorry, folks, they do not want you to see your sons and daughters as children not responsible enough to handle a gun here be sent off to another country with one in their hands. So that is never going to happen, and I actually agree with that one, believe it or not. I know, who'd have thunk it. The thing is, what they need to do, and this is another place where lobbyists will actually agree with me on this one. I'm sure the alcohol business has plenty of lobbyists out there. I think they need to lower the age of drinking, because I think it's horrible to tell a soldier that you're old enough to take this gun, go off to a strange land, kill a total stranger for another guy's money who you've never actually sat down with. But you're not mature enough to have a beer after you go do all that bloodshed for that man's money.
Yeah.
Blow me. The man's old enough to have a beer. All right, we need to change the legal drinking age. That's what needs to be changed. So there you have that. Trump says the resources would be better spent. I am so sick of him bashing our agencies that keep us safe all the time just because they happen to be catching the sneaky crap he pulled. And he's going out of his way to demean them. And everything our country is set up around, by the way, he said he would do this when he was a civilian. Mm-hmm. He said he would tear America apart. He hates America. He thinks we're idiots. He thinks we're a bunch of children, and the way we handle business is idiotic. And that if he had the chance, he would ruin America. He said he would do it by running for president. And if he did, he would run as a Republican, because Republicans are stupid enough to vote for anything with a Republican hat on. His own words. They actually have it on videotape, folks. Okay, so there you go. There you have all that a gun shooter thing. And by the way, if we're going to talk about funds being diverted, perhaps the money being spent on ICE deporting hardworking guys who have been in this country for like 20, 30 years with families that they're supporting, perhaps the money having people look them up and who write on them could be spent looking up the people that are getting 911 calls against them. Yep. All right, if you're going to divert something, let's not divert from our country is under attack, that we are at war and nobody's admitting it. Let's not divert from that.
No.
Let's divert from the war that is being held against people who have been solid citizens until this jackass came along. Like I said, I usually take Trump with a grain of salt, but lately he has really, really been pushing the limit with me. I just think this whole that we're not American if we don't agree with him, this whole thing. I have a slant on the wall, by the way. Here's something I haven't heard anybody say yet. Has it dawned on anyone that wall is not being built to keep the citizens of Mexico out, but to keep the citizens of America in after he and Putin get done turning us into East Berlin? Ooh. All right?
Let that marinate.
There's a little thought for you. All right, that's let that marinate for real. That's serious, deep stuff. I never hear anybody talk about it, but we all know that hardly any of the drugs that come across the wall.
Underground.
It's not happening like that. All right. Anyways, let me take us away right quickly to our 420 music break, baby. Today we have a band called Cynical Side right here out of Los Angeles, California. These groovies are doing a song, as I said on my 420 music break. Mm-hmm. This song is titled after what all my women's do. The song is called Beg for More. Here it is, Cynical Side, the 420 music break for your head. Yes, sir, that was Beg for More, featuring Lady Albright on the vocals. No, it wasn't. That was Cynical Side, you guys. And by the way, the bass player in that band is also the bass player in Schizo. I told him on the 420 Music Break about that. Cat named Kenny Lafort. Good friend of mine. Kenny, super, super groovy producer, amazing cat. So that was our 420 Music Break, me groovies. Don't forget to listen to that over on radiospaz.com, hour long.
Oh, yeah.
We are News That Blows right here on KCAA Radio. Be right back. Another great 420 Music Break. You know, we got the folks at radiospaz.com to thank for that. The good folk over at radiospaz.com not only re-air this show, News That Blows, every Monday night at 7, they also play my independent music show titled, yep, you guessed it, the 420 Music Break. This is Bon John Sin, and I'm spinning independent music, uncut, uncensored, played exactly the way the artist recorded it. Because that's how they get down over at radiospaz.com. Give us a listen, radiospaz.com. Aw, snap. Your car just broke down, and taking it to a mechanic is so not in the schedule, even if you did know where to find a good one. Sound familiar? Don't trip, friends. Your boy Bon John Sin has got your back. When this scenario becomes your scenario, call Canopy Shop Auto Service. CSAS will send out a top-notch mechanic who will bring out his tools and a canopy and set up shop around your car. It doesn't matter if your car broke down at home, at work, or even out on the street. Canopy Shop Auto Service will set up shop anywhere. And weather problems are no problems for these guys. They and your car are under a canopy. But what I like most about CSAS is that their mechanics always leave your car cleaner than they found it. Yeah, really. So, there you have it. Auto repair made convenient. Call Canopy Shop Auto Service at 424-223-4924. Tell them Bond sent you. Hey, what are you doing in the fridge? Get back in here. It's time for more News That Blows. Come on now. Get back in here. I had y'all looking at me. Right, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Welcome back to News That Blows, folks. I'm Bon John Sin. We are right here on KCAA Radio, 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM. Thank you, my brother. And 1050 AM in the Inland Empire. And KCAAradio.com. All over the world. That's right. That's what we're talking about. And, I said I'm Bon John Sin. I am, of course, kicking it here with my boy, Hipsy Gutters, out here adding his opinions and views, as well as Kirsten Maxine Albright, a.k.a. Lady Albright, our resident relationships expert, as well as somebody who's got a little bit of views and opinions on how things go down in the UK, which we are going to put to use here today. One thing I want to get back to before I move on, we were talking about agencies and how Trump has just been crapping all over American agencies. Well, here's one he hasn't been crapping all over. The ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. By the way, I'm pretty sure if you look at what kills most Americans every year, tobacco's the number one cause. Drunken driving is the number two cause. The number one killer of children in their teens.
Violence.
And violence due to gunshot is the number three. So we actually have a department that you and I, folks, are paying out of our pocket that is built to protect the rights, I don't know what it is they're protecting, but they are private businesses, all three of them, and why we are paying to see their deeds done, to do their bidding.
Right.
We have a whole department that is more active than our FBI, apparently, if you ask our president. But you haven't heard anything about them since Trump has become president. No. I don't know. Maybe it's got something to do with the $31 million the NRA gave him. for his campaign.
Uh-oh.
That could have something to do with it. And who am I? You know, it's numbers, it's math. I don't pay
It's an
attention to
educated
that.
guess.
You know. And by the way, math, I love math.
All right.
I love
lies.
math. Math will never lie to you. Math will never show favoritisms. Math will never take your child and run off to another state. Ooh. Don't get me started. Oh, I loves me some math. Anyways, we talked about how Trump said teachers should be packing.
Right. I was waiting for that one.
I mean, first off,
The school class shootout.
Right.
I mean,
First graders
off,
versus the kindergartners.
before I even get into all the obvious levels of comedy that are available behind that idiotic statement,
Right.
I'd like to deal with the real of it. Because I say this to people in the hood all the time. Just because you got enough money to buy a gun does not mean you've got the heart to take a life. Right. And if you pull that gun and you ain't got the balls to kill somebody, it will get taken from you, and now they've got an extra weapon, and chances of you getting shot just got really good.
Yeah.
So, to ask a school teacher to all of a sudden turn into Bruce Willis in a blockbuster movie,
Bruce Willis.
I think is beyond ignorant. They have a man outside their paying.
Well, especially if he's hiding and he's paid to
This is what
carry a weapon.
They've got a guy
then the
whose job it
teachers-
is already, who's being paid exactly, Kirsten. Thank you for bringing this back up, because how are we going to put guns in teachers' hands when the people who you've already trained are too scared
Cowardly,
to go in and do the job?
Yeah.
And we want to put the onus on teachers like they don't have enough responsibility with crazy parents who want to beat them up and shoot them all the time.
And
But
then
that's
remember
not
the curriculum,
solution.
too.
I mean, that is that's a crazy solution.
No, it's-
Curriculum is a mug.
And, you know, and Hipsy Gutters and I had a conversation with a good friend of ours, E. And he was saying, if I was in a mall and I was strapping and some dude started shooting, I would pull my strap and go after him. I would start shooting at him, and I'm like, are you taking into account the hundreds of people who are going to be running in a total panic between you and him?
Yeah.
Your chances of hitting him are like 1 in probably several thousand, where your chances of shooting a civilian trying to do the right thing are probably 1 in 3.
Yeah.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep
Pretty
it real. The chances of you becoming the next shooter by accident and making it a 2 people killing everyone out there thing are really good. So people, let's just keep it real. Let's keep guns in the hands of people who deserve them. That's the problem to
And not do
start
that.
with.
Well, but I can't help but mentioning that all the shootings, all the school shootings that's been done here in America, they've all been legal weapons. It's not been anybody that's stolen them or
True.
anything like that.
Not kids
This is
out of the
legal
ghetto.
weapons.
You know.
And we were talking about it earlier and last week about the Dunblane school shooting, the massacre that time. That was in 1996, where a psychopath, he went and shot I can't remember how many children and a teacher. I think it was at least 20 died.
Wow.
But the government stepped up. They banned
This
handguns.
was in the UK.
Yep, they banned handguns, and that is 22 years ago, and there's not been one school shooting since.
Can you please repeat that?
Yeah, that's 22 years ago.
Not one
School shooting since. No.
All right, America, you know, you heard how to save your kids when some jerk-off comes into class with a gun and wants to kill them last week.
Yeah.
But you heard how to keep that jerk-off from having guns to start with this week.
Yeah, and
Right
that is
here,
by
you know.
parents
I,
making sure they know what their kids are doing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
First
you know,
and
you
foremost, right.
Make parents accountable.
I know there are so many guns out on the streets, but you know what? Just bowing down and saying it's already too far gone and let it get worse is not the answer.
No.
Saying, you know, just saying, hey, this is becoming part of our life. Let's call it school shooting season and act like it's an okay everyday thing. Is not really cool. I breezed real quickly. I'm going to move on. We've spoken about those things. I breezed real quickly about Donald Trump Jr. giving a foreign policy speech in India. He's kind of out there taking meetings. He's out there opening Trump businesses, flying out there on Americans' dime, and then he is basically, if you buy one of the $1 million condos in the new building that they're building, you get to sit down and have a meeting with Donald Trump Jr. Okay, so everybody with money now that wants to buy into our government is basically taking these meetings out on the $1 million fucking apartment front. This is the kind of crap that goes down. This is what happens when you put a CEO in charge.
It's a new way of lobbying.
It really is. We're going to be right back after these messages, you guys, right here on News That Blows.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Bon John Sin. And as good as I am at the on-air side of radio, I really needed some help with the off-air side. You know, the business side. Then I spoke with my friends at Empowerment Projects International, LLC. Now, I knew that EPI has multi-million, even billion-dollar companies that they work with. But what I didn't know was that those same business strategies could work for me. If you're a small business trying to get bigger or a big company trying to go global, EPI will help you plan, design, implement, and manage your business. Empowerment Projects International, LLC helped to get me on the air, and they'll help to keep me here. Let them do the same for your business. Go to emproj.org and see what Empowerment Projects International, LLC can do for you.
Oi, Captain, the chess has all been buried and the crew is all back aboard. What next, sir?
What day be it?
What day be it? What day be it? I think we're coming up on the weekend, sir.
Good. Then set sail for the Renaissance Pleasure Fair.
Set sail for the Renaissance Pleasure Fair?
You are aware that I've already got a pirate.
Yes, sir. All hands on deck. Set sail for the Renaissance Pleasure Fair.
The original Renaissance Pleasure Fair from April 7th to May 20th. Go to renfair.com and get your tickets today.
Come on now, leave that thing alone. It's time for more News That Blows with me, Bon John Sin. Oh my.
Dang right, Playboy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. All right, this is News That Blows Me Groovies. Welcome back. Yeah. KCAA Radio, 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM in the Inland Empire, and right here on Groovy as Radio. I almost said radiospaz.com again. I can't stop thinking about the 420 show. I guess I'm ready to just 420 up out of this piece tonight. Right here on KCAAradio.com all over the world, me groovies. That is where you can hear us. We're archived here. We're also archived over. You can watch us on Tiki Live. Yeah. I don't know if we ever made it onto Radio Hard or not, but I haven't even looked. iHeartRadio, I have no idea. So, hey, promises. Who listens? Okay, we're moving on with this News That Blows stuff. Me groovies. I mentioned how in La Habra, bless you. I mentioned in La Habra how a woman ran over a teenage boy with her car and didn't just hit and run. The reason why is because she ran him over on purpose, and then her two sons, bless you again, and then her two sons got out of the car and beat the boy up while he was laying in the street after being run over by their mama.
Oh, wow.
All right, this is just taking it a little too far. Okay, your kids. First off, if you even taught your sons that it's okay for the two of them to jump this one kid, you've taught them how to be bitches. All right, that ain't no man stuff. The fact that you went and ran this boy over so that your sons would be man enough to be able to put hands on him. You need to find somebody to help you raise those kids, lady, right off the bat. Well, first off, she's not going to be able to raise them anymore anyways. The whole bunch of them are going to go to jail.
Oh, yeah.
They've got assault and battery. She's got vehicular attempted murder.
Manslaughter.
So, yeah, she's going to end up with attempted murder for running him over on purpose. Okay, so this is...
And do we know what it was about?
The two boys and the one boy had a spat in school.
Oh, no.
Probably about a girl.
Just they had words in school. Who knows what it was about? Probably.
And these are the kind of parents we don't
need. And these
need.
are the kind of parents we don't need. These are the reasons. Once again, we keep talking about where are these kids coming from? They're coming from dumbass parents like you, lady. That's where they're coming from. Yeah. Get your head out of your ass. What are you thinking?
Damn kids.
To hit anybody with a car to solve your problems, let alone to teach your children this is how you solve your problems. Well, I hope you taught your children how to pucker up their butt cheeks in jail. Because that's what they're really going to need to know, you dumbass. I hate horrible parents. There's just no end to the idiocy behind that. Let's move on before I get too foul and have to throw myself off the air. FCC, I'm watching your back. I'm going to stop me before I get there. But lady, ooh. Okay, another bizarre story. There was a man, had some cardiac breathing problems, went into the hospital. About an hour or so later, doctor comes out, tells his family he died. He's pronounced him dead. What? The grieving family goes in, and the woman notices as she's moving around about the room, his eyes are following her. Yeah, his eyes were following her. Okay, dead men's eyes don't follow you as you walk around the room. I'm not sure how many people out there know that. That don't happen. So she goes and gets somebody and says, get the doctor back in here. He's not dead. Doctor visited 2 more times in 2 hours and 40 minutes, claimed him dead again twice, and then finally a nurse saw his fingers move or saw him try to, something he did to try to communicate with them, a nurse noticed, and went back and got the doctor. Then they tried to revive him, but it had already been 2 hours, 40 minutes that his brain had no oxygen. They're trying to say it wouldn't have made a difference. His cardiac arrest was the problem. But anybody who knows anything about cardiac arrest knows the sooner you get oxygen to the brain, the better your chances of healing are. Yeah. Shame on that hospital in San Francisco for just lying to people like they're the president of the United States. Obviously, that's okay. We all just take it like it's part of business now. So apparently everybody gets to do it. Anybody who screws up, hey, don't worry about the dead guy. We got a good excuse. It wasn't our fault. And you can't say otherwise because we're doctors and we're all going to team up against you. Okay. So like the doctors are having their own police shooting situation, and somebody does something horrible wrong and everybody knows it, but they all stand up because he's a doctor. And try to back it. That's society. This is another reason why society is going down the shitter and people are so disenfranchised. They're running cars through White House gates, and kids are showing up in school because they just don't feel that there is anything that they can do. All right, folks. We're going to go ahead. We've only got a little bit of time left. We're going to take a quick break. Then we're going to come back and wrap it up with a few thoughts about bombing the crap out of these poor civilians in Syria. It's sad. It's horrible. It's inhumane, and it's happening. So we're going to talk a little bit about that to wrap up the show when we come back. This is News That Blows. I'm Bon John Sin here with the grooviest of groovy folk. We'll be right back.
Hey, folks, riddle me this. Since The Tonight Show left the building, what else is there to do in the city of Burbank? Well, you can always go visit the Martial Arts History Museum. Learn about how martial arts was created, then banned and hidden away for years, until finally resurfacing to become the phenomenon it is today. The curator of the Martial Arts History Museum, Michael Matsuda, has also put together an amazing collection of martial arts movie memorabilia, like Liu Kang's shield from Mortal Kombat, and even the weaponry created by Gerald Okamura used in Bruce Lee films. The Martial Arts History Museum also hosts lots of great events, at which you might just meet some of the stars from your favorite action films. The past, the present, and the future of martial arts can all be found at the Martial Arts History Museum. Go to martialartsmuseum.com, then go to the Martial Arts History Museum. I'm Bon John Sin, and I'm asking you to please support martial arts and support the Martial Arts History Museum. Greetings, folk. I'm Bon John Sin. I host a new talk radio show called News That Blows, where I'll be taking a somewhat cynical look at the stories in the week's news, every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Time on KCAA Radio, 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, and 1050 AM in the Inland Empire, and KCAAradio.com all over the world. Because as long as there's news, there will always be news that blows. Don't go getting all soft on me now. We still got a little bit more news that blows.
Just a little bit more, me groovies. I want to give props to all the kids out there that are doing their thing. They're touring. They are out there. They're sitting down with the president. They're showing up at town hall meetings. If anything ever makes a change, these kids will. Out in Syria, we got to wrap it up quick because I'm running late tonight, folks. Out in Syria, there are children being bombed, hospitals being bombed. It's still going on out there. Please write your congressman, write whoever, ask them to get back into supporting getting Syria out of there. Folks, the Russians refer to what they're doing as information warfare. That means we are at war. I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we are at war next week. In the meantime, maybe y'all want to go out and get the book The Art of War by Sun Tzu and give it a good read, because what is happening to our country is laid out in detail in the book The Art of War by Sun Tzu. All right, folks, I'm Bon Johnson, and this is News That Blows. We're about out of all the time that we have. I want to thank Kirsten Maxine Albright for your excellent views and opinions all around.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And of course, my brother from another mother, Hipsy Gutters. You can hear some of his rap music at Bandcamp as well as on SoundCloud, as well as on SoundCloud. Check him out. HYPSYGUTTAZ. All right, folks. Well, I'm Bon Johnson, and in 623, you and me is we, right here on News That Blows. See y'all then.